Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So it's been a while since I did an empties video, I think more than a month. So my little basket is quite full, although quite a few repeat products. I thought I'd get down to it, show you what I've been using. No surprise, my favourite deodorant that you're sick of seeing, Mitchum's. Horribly, I seem to have gone through 1, 2, 3, 4 bottles of Mitchum's in, I suspect, 2 months. I'm not quite sure when I last did one of these. What can I say? It's been a very hot summer here. I've also finished up quite a nice bath product here. This is the Jo Malone Wood Sage and Sea Salt body and hand wash. I really like this fragrance. It's about the only Jo Malone fragrance I absolutely love now. I mean, there are quite a few that I like. I mean, if somebody bought them for me, I'm very happy to receive them, but I wouldn't go out and buy. This one I really love. Unfortunately, I don't love the spray-on fragrance of it that much. I just don't find it lasts that well. That's true of a lot of the Jo Malones since Jo Malone was no longer involved, and it's just Estee Lauder using the brand. It's a really lovely fragrance, but the last on the perfumes just isn't good for the price you're paying. They're not absolutely premium, but they're pretty expensive for what you get. But I do love the bath oils, which still remain very good quality. I wish there was a bath oil in this fragrance. That isn't, so far as I know. They just make this body wash, which you can use as a sort of bubble bath. It's called hand and body wash, but it does bubble up a little bit. I think they make a body cream, which is very nice indeed, and that gives you a good fragrance, and they make a candle. So I do like that. I'm sure I will repurchase at some stage. Another thing that I will certainly repurchase is Chanel Beige in the Les Exclusives. This is the old one when they were still the Eau de Toilette. I think they're Eau de Parfum now. It's a really heady white floral with a kind of sweet honey overtone, I think. A lot of people don't describe it that way. It's just described as a white woody floral, I think, which I never quite get the woodiness in it. It's very sweet but not sickly. I think it's an evening fragrance for the summer, really. I mean, you could wear it in the day. I think that Tom Ford's Champaca Absolute is very similar to me, and I marginally prefer it simply because it's got a better last. But this is a gorgeous fragrance. I'm not ready to repurchase at the moment because I've got about 6 of these in the Les Exclusives range. I went mad about kind of a year to a year and a half ago and bought several. I'm just using them up, but I will, I'm sure, repurchase at some stage. And it is a Chanel fragrance I recommend people getting and trying. I had a nice large sample of the Chanel Sublimage La Crème. This is their very expensive anti-aging range. I wouldn't shell out the moolahs for this because it is expensive. It's really nice. It feels nice going on. My skin absorbed it well. Looked nice afterwards, but nothing stunningly spectacular. It's very heavily fragranced. That doesn't bother me. It comes in pots rather than tubes when it's not the sample, and that does bother me. Active ingredients don't survive exposure to the air, so I'm not wild about that. Here's a oldie and a goodie. You've heard me talk about Bioderma before. I've used up one. I am loving the Sephora Micellar water. I think I spoke about quite recently, maybe in a favourites. Not that recently, probably about a month ago, that I opened as the kind of replacement for this. Up until then, I had never found a micellar water to compare with Bioderma. I do like the Sephora one, but ironically, that's more difficult to come by in the UK. where we don't have Sephora, than Bioderma is now. When I started using Bioderma, it was really difficult to get it here in the UK. You basically had to always just import it from France, but now it seems to be in every trendy chemist, and I do like it. I use it all the time. A more expensive, not a micellar water, but a kind of refreshing skin tonic is the, I never know how to pronounce this, Omorvitska. Any of my Hungarian viewers care to give me a phonetic spelling of how to pronounce that? Anyway, it's the Queen of Hungary mist, and it's a bit of a cult product. Comes in a very heavy glass bottle. This was a freebie with, you know, one of the Space NK or Cult Beauty gifts with purchase. I did enjoy using it, but I don't really think it's anything that spectacular, so I'm not sure about these mists at all, whether they do much at all. They're very nice to wear, especially in weather like this. I'm using, I want to say Aromatherapy Associates, but it's not. I'll need to look up the one that I'm using at the moment. It's very nice. That's not a lot of use to you, since I can't remember it. I used another perfume. I really went through the perfumes in the last couple of months. Byredo, Mojave Ghost. Is that how you pronounce it? Somebody told me last time and I've forgotten. Mojave, I think so. Ghost. I liked this. Just having a little smell to remind myself. Didn't have a terribly good last. So, I mean, I did go through it quite quickly. I have liked all the Byredos that I've bought. I'm using Sunday Cologne at the moment quite a lot. You've seen it on my Instagram. Really, really like it. I think I'd probably buy this again, maybe in the Bath and Body products. I know that they're doing those. If I find that I really like the smell of a fragrance, but I don't find the perfume or the eau de parfum or the eau de toilette or whatever I can buy it in, the spray fragrance as it were, actually has the sort of last that I expect for the premium price that I'm paying. I often quite like to get the body products, and I find that kind of satisfies my craving for the actual fragrance at a lower price point more effectively. Sometimes they actually last on the skin better than the perfume. You know, that's definitely the case with the Jo Malone I just showed you. Some, of course, ranges both work. You know, the Tom Ford Black Orchid, which if you've watched me for a while, you'll know is my very, very favourite fragrance of all time, and I still love it and wear it. I have the body products, the hair products, the eau de parfum, the eau de toilette, you name it. I love them all. But this one I consider buying the body products, which I know they do, because I do like the fragrance, although I didn't feel it smelt or lasted very strongly for me. This is a product that I didn't finish up. I have talked about it and recommended it in the past. This is the Guerlain Lingerie de Peau BB Beauty Booster cream. And the reason I'm throwing it away is it has slightly gone off. It's in light. And if you look, oh, shaky hand there, 9 months. I've definitely had this about 4 years. So it's not before time that it's gone off. Where I really liked using this was in very hot, sticky climates where I was sweating. I think I bought it and first used it when I was in New York for a reasonable spell over July or August. And anyone who's been in Manhattan at that time knows what the humidity is like, and it's almost impossible to keep a face of makeup from streaming down your face, and I found that this did the trick. It actually had quite high coverage. Now, I don't even know if they still make it, so, you know, I wouldn't say rush out and buy it. I would say go and see if you can get a sample of it, because it did work for me. It's an SPF 30, so a decent SPF, but it was really, there was just something about it that definitely clung to the face in a way foundations, even with a primer, didn't so much. Now, it's quite rare for us in the UK to have to cope with those kind of temperatures. We are at the moment, although, again, the humidity isn't anything as bad as New York humidity. Interestingly, today it was very, very hot and relatively humid in London. I wore a BB cream and actually a Dr. Yart. Just felt it was going to last better than my foundation. So it is worth thinking about that sometimes. I'm throwing away a Chanel perfume. This was a vintage perfume. You can see it's almost kind of rusted around the edges. Chanel number 5. I think it was about 1992. They reformulated Chanel number 5 pretty considerably if you had access to the older versions. I reckon this one was from the 80s when it was still a great deal more potent than it is in any version now. The only way to get your hands on these is on eBay, or if you've got a very elderly relative who hasn't cleaned their cupboard out for a bit. I mean, even just smelling the bottle, it knocks your socks off compared with what we get now. But sadly, is fully used up. So that is going. What else have I got here? I had a nice sample from Dior of Skin Dream Global Age-Defying Skincare. I think I quite liked this, but I can't tell you any more about it because I can't remember. I had an organic body wash from Cornwall. Ula, just smelt a bit herbally. And, oh yeah, this is probably going to be my next purchase if I find it at a reasonable price on Evil Bay. It's Chanel's Les Exclusives Coromandel. I'm not in any great rush at the moment because I definitely think this is more an autumn-winter fragrance than summer, but it's one of the ones I haven't had in a full size yet. Really gorgeous. So that's on my wish list. So that's what I've used in the past couple of months. Until next time, bye for now.